Simplified. So, we have heard a lot about spirituality, or we all might be curious to know more. And that's why this session has been designed to get a little bit more or deep dive into the simplicity of spirituality. So, quick introduction before we proceed about myself. I'm Shweta Kataria. I am based in the UK, in Aylesbury. I am in the UK for more than 2 years now, and basically I belong from India. So, and I work with one of the global insurance companies as a part of my profession. I'm into cybersecurity with about 18 years of experience. And the spiritual introduction of me is I have been associated with the organization Arham Vidya. I've been trained by my mentor Rishi Pravin, and I am a trainer or a coach under his umbrella of different faculties. I am the trainer of Arham Parenting, and we'll get to the spiritual part a little later. But with that quick introduction of mine, we will start. So, what is spirituality? And before getting into that, we might want to see that there are some myths about spirituality that we would like to burst today. The first one is that spirituality and religion is one and the same. So most of the time, it is spoken in a way that if you follow religion, you're spiritual, or to be spiritual, we might have to follow a certain religion. So this is a myth, and it may not. Religion and spirituality may not be totally different pathways. There is certain overlap, but spirituality in itself is vast, it is widespread, it is global, it is universal. It's not restricted to certain or one religion. So, by following religion is one ways to be spiritual, but that does not necessarily mean that if that spirituality and religion is the same. Spirituality is not everyone's cup of tea. Have you thought of this sometimes? Ah, that's not my cup of tea. Spirituality, oh my God, that is so something very different. I never follow. I mean, I like it definitely, but that's not something that I could do. Maybe no, not at this point of time. But again, that is a myth. And how we are going to see that in the upcoming slides. So I'll not take much time here, but I would like to say that it is a myth that spirituality is not everyone's cup of tea. Then spirituality is a burden. If I get spiritual, I'll have to follow certain practices. If I become spiritual, I will have to do certain things, just follow some strict rules. But that's also not true. In fact, spirituality is something that reduces the burden. Spirituality is something that makes us feel good. And again, we are going to talk more of it when we will understand what spirituality is. But definitely, it is not a burden. Spirituality and leisure life do not go hand in hand. So, I am in my teens, I am in my young age, we are new parents, and we have different things to do. We have so many dreams. We want to be successful, and if I become spiritual, maybe I would have to give all of that up. I would have to live a life which is very simple, not no leisures, but that's again not true. Spirituality and leisure life do go hand in hand, and we will see some examples of it as we go through the session. So these are some common myths. There might be more, but these are some common top myths that we would like to burst today. And then we go into the topic of if that's not true, then what is spirituality? What does it actually mean? Each one of us, or every living soul, has some deep down feeling which is of being good and which is of making good. Everyone here and everyone anywhere in the world and every living soul always feels and always tries to become good. No one here wants to be spoiled. No one here would want not to improve. We all know that we have some good things, some strengths, some weaknesses. But each one of us definitely deep down have a feeling that my weakness becomes better. I mean, I become better in dealing with my anger, with my anxieties, with my issues. And not only that, but each one of us, each soul, has this deep down feeling that just as I want to become good, I want also want to make others good. I would want to make an environment that is good, conducive for others. We all love and crave the harmony in our life. And that is the essence of spirituality. Spirituality also means that we are inclined to become peaceful. What is our aim? At the end of the day, what do we feel? That tomorrow's day be more peaceful than today. I want to have a peaceful life. That's the essence. And also that we want to make that life peaceful for others. Then self evolution and others' evolution, which we just spoke of, but in a different sense. That I want to grow, I want to be better each day, and I want to make others' life better each day. So let's go a little simple. Again, maybe that definition might not feel like a lightweight as it was mentioned in the session's introduction. So let's go even to our common day to day lives and then think about certain situations or some experiences that you might have. Think of the time when you were sad or you were upset and you were just feeling not so good. And then there was someone who smiled at you, and your sorrows, your worries, they just vanished. They went off. You felt good. There was a time when you might have felt that all the ways, all the paths are closed. I have no solution. I'm not going to get through this problem. And someone from somewhere, might be a friend, a brother, a sister, or some unknown person, some video, some reel that you saw on social media that gave you hope and that told you, no, every problem has a solution. It's okay. Things will pass and you can still succeed. That hope which was given to you by someone from somewhere, isn't that spiritual? Did that not change your entire aura, your vibrations when you're feeling low? That smile, that hope. You had consider or remember a thing when a situation when you were having a very bad headache or you were not feeling well, you had fever and you were sleeping, you were not in your normal energy and in your normal routine. And say, for example, your kids or your spouse or your mother or your father, they just dropped in, saw you, and they cuddled you. Just put their hand on your head, patted your back. How did you feel? Was that not spiritual? That inside feeling of when I have learned something new and I'm seeing that someone is trying to learn these things, like it might be education or it might be something that we learn in our day-to-day lives. And then when we see that someone is pursuing that, someone is trying to learn, and that inside feeling of us that, I can do this well, let me tell you, let me help you. Let me coach you. Oh, don't do it. Don't do a certain thing in this way, but do it in this way. It will help you. And that inner feeling that you felt of satisfaction, that you could give it forward to someone, that feeling is spiritual. That feeling of giving selflessly because you didn't expect anything in return. That is spiritual. You were walking on a road or you were in a mall and you just saw someone, a child crying, or you just noticed someone's face and you realize that this person looks worried. What happened? And for a few seconds, that stuck on your mind. And you felt that same emotions for that unknown person. That was empathizing. Empathizing with someone that you do not even know. You have no relation, no connection with. Have you all felt that some or the other time? And if yes, that is spiritual. That means we feel something from inside without a reason, without a purpose. That is a feeling of goodness, the faith, the help, all these beautiful, nice things that we have received so far and that we have done so far. They were all because each one of us is spiritual deep down. And this is simple spirituality of making our life happy, ourselves happy, or making others happy. Does not mean pleasing, does not mean pleasing for something in return. It's just that happiness, that bliss, that content. That is what is spirituality. So, do you all feel that spirituality is my cup of tea? How many of you feel? Maybe you could raise your hand. I can see only Darshana, and I can see that she is saying yes, and I feel happy. And I wish I could see others also. Um, but thank you, Lasya, for raising your hand. So, we do feel, yes, thank you. Thank you. Then Prakashji. Thank you. So many hands raised and so many thumbs up. So I'm glad we realized that spirituality is my cup of tea. It is not burden. It is not a big deal. We are living it anyways in our daily lives. We are experiencing it on a daily basis. It's a part of our life. So what's next? What's the need of spirituality? Now, we know that we all are spiritual and we all agree on this point. Let's see an example and then we'll talk about what it means. I hope the video is audible.
This video is about the inspiring story of a mother that raised the inventor of the light bulb. It dramatically shows how a positive word of encouragement can help change anyone's destiny. It also reflects how the power of a mother can change the destiny of her child. One day the young Thomas Edison came home and handed a paper to his mother from his school. He told her, "My teacher gave this paper to me and told me to give it only to you." His mother's eyes were tearful as she read the letter out loud to her son. "Your son is a genius. This school is too small for him and doesn't have good teachers for training him. Please teach him yourself." Edison's mother decided to educate her son at home, abandoning the school that Edison had attended for only 3 months. She prepared an excellent homeschooling routine for her son, and Edison left his school behind without a second thought. After years, Edison's mother died and he was renowned as one of the greatest inventors of the century. One day he was going through his old family things. Suddenly he noticed a folded paper in the corner of a drawer. He took it and opened it up. On the paper was written, "Your son is addled. We will not allow him to attend our institution any longer." Thomas Edison cried for hours and then he wrote in his diary, "Thomas Alva Edison was an addled child that by a hero mother, became the genius of the century." At the very end of his life, Edison famously quoted, "My mother was the making of me. She was so true, so sure of me, and I felt I had someone to live for, someone I must not disappoint. Moral of the story: never let anybody shatter your dreams. Edison's mother's courage and constant faith in her son's abilities made him the genius he grew up to be. With a mother's love as true and strong as Nancy Edison's, anything is possible.
Sorry. So what happened in this story? What happened with Edison? As you all saw, and maybe you already knew this story, but let's see it from the perspective of spirituality. This situation or this scenario might have happened with each one of us or around us, where we have seen that some children may not be doing very well academically, and when such letters or such news reports come home, then there is situation where the children have to answer. They are tortured, they are lectured for hours to follow certain things. And in this case, where Edison's mother, when she saw that letter, though she had tears in her eyes, the actual letter that she read out to her son was that your child is brilliant and he has more IQ and he can process more things than what children of his age could. So we request you to give him the best education, which this school is unable to provide. That is what she read out to him when he was young, when he came home with that letter. And from then, she started teaching him. And years later, after even she had passed away, he found this letter in her brief, which said that he was an adult child and he cannot continue with that institution because of his incapability. If that mother had not been spiritual, we would have lost a great scientist. She was spiritual because she had hope. She was spiritual because she saw the possibility of what could happen. She did not focus on what is the situation, but she focused on what can be done out of this situation. And just imagine if she had not been there, I'm not sure if um, light that we got, the century would have got it as early as Thomas Edison could get us. So, not only that mother's spirituality brightened her life, her child's life, but it actually eliminated all of ours life practically, right? So, this spirituality is not something like going and sitting in Himalayas or mountain ranges and doing some kind of deep meditation. Definitely, that is spirituality, and that is of a very higher level. But at our level also, we could be spiritual. We could be Edison's mom. We could be someone's sister, a brother who brings this spirituality to real life and makes life change, not only for ourselves but for the world. Then the question is who wins? There was a very famous question that was asked to Lord Mahavira by one of his disciples that if there is a contest or if there are two men doing wrestling, who wins? Consider they have the same strength, consider they have the same endurance, consider they have the same training, they are equal from all perspectives. Then who wins? What decides that one person wins and the other person loses? Very interesting question, isn't it? And maybe we have also wondered it so many times that I was better than someone else. I mean, not with a pride, but practically I was better. Then why did not I win? So the answer is very interesting to know. Who wins is the person whose energy is activated, who has an active energy, that X factor, which makes someone win. And that X factor is the spirituality, that humbleness. that strategizing, that being aware in a certain situation. So when we are wrestling, it's like a battlefield, right? We have to be always active. So one who is aware, one whose pride is not taking over his strength, one who knows when to use power and when to use mind. That person is spiritual person because he knows, he's aware, and that makes us win. So that is the need of spirituality. Why? And why is this question under the tagline or under the title of what is the need of spirituality? Because today there are so many things that are distracting us, our generations. There's so many negative things, negative emotions, negative propagandas. Um, on there is on one side there is terrorism growing. On one side there are different social media things going on which may not be negative, which may not be positive, so which are taking us down, our generations down. So we need to bring a spiritual revolution. Why? Because he wins who has power, who has this energy activated. Like in Avengers, who wins? Is it the positive energy or the negative energy? And why? Because they built their energy. They focused on winning. And that's why we need more of spiritual representative spiritual leaders so that each one becomes a tower of spreading goodness in this world. What are the benefits of spirituality? As we discussed, improved awareness and control of situations. So let's relate it very quickly with Edison's example. The mother, she had that awareness. She did not get drifted by the situation, but rather she took control of that situation. It was very easy to get emotional, to be heartbroken, to think, oh my God, what will happen of my son now? What will he do? No, no, none of the institutions will take him. But because she was spiritual, she had improved awareness and she took charge of that situation. Again, second point, let's relate to her. The focus shifted from that problem to the solution and how beautiful solution she found out. If a normal person had that letter in the hand, maybe there were more chances of focusing on problem. So spirituality brings solutions and does not mean that there will be no problems in our lives, but with spirituality, we will always know that there is a solution and we will always find that solution. Experiencing the feel good factor. So, when we saw those examples of when someone smiled at you and you felt good, when someone cuddled you, you felt good. Now, let's just reverse this situation and think of the times when you smiled at someone and they felt, oh, life is beautiful. When you touched your kids, when you took them close, they felt, now everything is secure. When you told your spouse, I'm going to be with you no matter what, and your spouse felt that, okay, I can come out of this situation. And after this, the other person did feel good. But what did you feel? That feeling of goodness is very important because that is our spiritual being, that is our being true self. And we need to nurture this feel good factor. We need to nurture to make it grow and for it to prosper. And what are the benefits of spirituality? Radiating the energy. So once we become spiritual, it does not just stay with us. It's like if you boil a milk, if you have ever, then you will see that when it becomes hot, it starts boiling and it starts spilling over. It is like that. Spirituality is when you start feeling it, you start noticing it, you start experiencing it. It just doesn't stay with you. It radiates. It goes to your all the people that are connected with you. Your family can see it. Your friends can see it. And then you will start noticing that you're being helpful and you're being useful. Who do you go to when you have any life's problems? Someone in your life that you go to. It may be a friend, a relative, a colleague. Who do you go to? And if you observe, you go to that person because you feel that they can help you in your problem selflessly. They will tell you what to do. You will feel better when you speak to them. And that is spirituality of being helpful and being useful. Now, coming to the point, how do we nourish the spirituality? Each one of us have it. We have already seen. Everyone agrees. Now, each one of us know that it is my cup of tea. Now, never ever are we going to say that it is not my cup of tea. Then why is spirituality on a different track and I am on a different track? And how do I nourish it? So, what happens is you have taken a highway and you're going to your destination. Somehow there were some roadworks going on, so you took another route and then you just lost the track. Every soul, when we started, or our soul, we have basic properties or we have that basic instinct of being spiritual. We all have goodness in our heart, in our soul, and we all want to do the best. It's just that we have been rerouted from our destination. And to get back to our original self, we need to reroute. Like when we get on the maps or the navigation, now take the next left to go back on your track. So it's just that we have to take that route. If we don't take that route, we'll continue where we are going or we are heading. Another simple example to see is that there are two flows, water flows, and then our life has started has taken the flow where we are into our daily routine, we are in our jobs, office, work, our different classes, maybe our learnings, knowledge gaining. So we all are doing different things in our life. And in that, we find it difficult to find time for spirituality or for doing something that is spiritual or helps us grow from within. So there is a full force of energy that pulls us into our routine. Now there's another track that is of spirituality, which we want to do. We want to get there. I'm sure each one of us, when we see the reels or when we are binging or when we are scrolling through the internet, whenever we see some nice, good things or something that makes us feel good, we do stop by and we listen to it. And then we decide, oh, yes, now from tomorrow onwards, I'm going to do gratitude every day. And then we try to hook on or to hold on to spirituality, and then the force of our routine pulls us back into the water force that we are. So what we need to do to nourish this spirituality? Anchor. Like an anchor, we need to have a strong grab. And I'm not saying that we have to do great major things every day, but anchoring, which is not leaving that other side of ourselves, which we truly are, that other side of us which makes us better in everything we do. So if spirituality helps me succeed in my career, why not? Spirituality makes my family life better, why not? If spirituality makes me enjoy my vacation, why not? There's so many things of luxuries that we do, but not necessarily they satisfy us. Every time I go shopping and I bring things, I feel, oh, I should have got some more. But if with the tinge of spirituality in it, and I feel, my goodness, I've got so many things and I'm so happy. If I get that happiness for what I'm already doing, then why not? So it is that spirituality which we want to bring in our lives. So anchoring is very important because the other side of our life will has a very strong force to pull us apart. So let's think of how we can anchor. So just to give my example or my story or my journey of spiritual experience is that I got anchored with my mentor. And I'm so grateful that I have him in his my life. And it is such a great anchor that in spite of so many things, so many different phases of getting married, having children, having career stages, having different lives in the career stages, the education, the knowledge, and moving it between the countries, and all those aspects, that spirituality and that anchor really helped me to be in touch of spirituality, practice spirituality. And I do feel good that we are able to radiate that to the outside world. So the organization that I work with or I work for my mentor is very blissfully of God who works on, he's a life coach and gives the solutions for different phases of life. Give you a quick glimpse. So with these different courses, it has become very easy. For there are more than 4,000 trainers across the globe for these different faculties and different programs. It helps us, as one of them is me, it helps us to remain spiritually in touch, to anchor ourselves, and not just that, but to help others' lives get better. So, if I have a friend of mine who has certain issues with their career, for example, or their lifestyle, I easily know which how I can help him or help that friend to connect with the right to connect the right dots and help that person succeed. So it's not just us that it benefits. The spirituality is something that is of benefit to the larger world, larger audience. So definitely, if any one of you would want to join our army of the spiritual army or to represent divinity, anyone is open to join. The new trainer program is starting from 1st of May, and it would be a 6 months course, just once a week, one session, but you will get to learn more. So the aim is to grow, aim is to become spiritually aware, and aim is to become the towers ourselves. So when we become the towers, we can spread divinity to world and we can make lives better. So, under this program or under this series of programs, we are going to do different topics, different sessions. If you would like to stay in touch with us, you could contact on the mobile number and we can take it forward. And now I'm opening this session for question and answers. If anyone has any questions, and until then, I would like to let you know that in the month of June, we would be coming up with one of the sessions for parents or families who can help their children for their education. So, how to help children when they're learning, when they are studying, and how to help them when they're giving some exams, and how to overall help them academically. So, that is one of the topics that we have thought of in June. So apart from that, for spirituality, any questions, any insights, any feedback, if you guys have, if you want to share, what did you feel during the session? Did you feel spirituality was simple or if it was difficult? Any insights you might have? There are some contact number, there's a contact number put in the chat. There is a website link that is pasted. If you want to join us in the spiritual revolution, and if there are no questions, we could end or wrap up the session. I know we did a little early. Thank you, Diptiji. If not any other comments, then thank you so much for spending this Sunday evening with us. The 45 minutes of spirituality. I hope it helped. I hope you all would anchor with the spirituality so that not drift apart from it and help spread the goodness to the world. Thank you so much and see you again in the next session. If you want to stay connected for knowing the upcoming events, then please ping me on the number that has been shared. And thank you once again. Have a nice evening. Bye bye.